my advice would always be just start shooting as quickly as you can. Get used to the idea of lighting and also using the cameras, but in a way, you know, if you're interested in shooting films as opposed to anything else, in a way that tells stories. So, and just do as much as you can. My name's Rob Hardy. I'm a cinematographer, director of photography. I've shot maybe 12 to 15 features. I shot a movie called Boy A. I did a film called Red Riding, 1974. Shadow Dancer. Speaking from my own experience, the one thing that sort of snowballed everything very early on in my career was, was shooting a music video with friends that the band happened to become huge at that time. And nobody knew that would happen. We just did. And again, it comes back to that idea of, you know, you just do what you do. I would suggest maybe not do stuff to get noticed. Do stuff shoot things that are about really you and being truthful to what you want to do, and it will get noticed eventually. If it's good, it will get noticed.
Somebody here wants to see you, mate. Who? Dunno. By the loading bay with Dave and Chris. All right.
It's all well to make nice pictures, but then to sort of apply a psychological effect, in other words, what that character is thinking, that's going to really drive the story forward. And this, for me, was like one of those moments where I kind of realised that this is the only way to shoot this scene. So, you know, in a traditional sense, you've got, practically you would have 5 people talking at any one given moment. You would have you would break it down into lots of shots and do it that way. The key to this was that he is entering a situation and he needs to make sure that it's like, you know, nobody knows who he is. So we had Steadicam there that day, and I was like, well, let's try it like this, because I think we can manage it in the sense that we enter into the situation with him, and then it's like his mind is circling this whole scenario.
This is Felix.
Hi.
From the Evening News. Wants to do a little piece. Am I right?
What, us?
Oh, daring rescue.
Actually, I'm only here to take a photo.
Listen, I'm not really, sure.
What?
Or I want my photo taken. Right.
Why? Jesus, Jack, it's just a photo. Where do you want them, Felix? Beside the van would be good, yeah? Get the old logo in, whatnot.
If you like.
What about the hats, Dave?
What?
Get them in, too.
That's a good idea. Carol, have we got any hats in there?
What kind?
What do you mean, what kind? Our hats?
DV?
Well, that's the name of the company, isn't it?
I'll have a look.
And then it just simply became about a question of timing more than anything. So we blocked and we rehearsed and rehearsed and rehearsed and rehearsed. And it was one of those moments where I think if you decide to commit to like doing a single take, for example, in this case, you really have to commit to it. There's no use in sort of going, well, we'll do it anyway and then we'll cover ourselves just in case. I think it's like you really have to approach these things with the utter conviction that it's going to work. And it won't work for quite some time, and then suddenly it kind of slots into place. And I think that was one of the latter takes. We probably did about 15 or 16 takes on it, and that was maybe number 11 or 12, I think. I'm quite proud of that in a sense that I think it does. It's a good example of translating a psychological moment onto the screen. It's easy for someone to kind of walk onto set and do something at absolutely the wrong time, and having a sense of awareness is very, very important. And you learn that. Everybody learns that through doing jobs together, and the more jobs you do together, obviously, the tighter a team you become. So, I'll always push to work with specific people, because I think there are specific people that we work very well together, and I enjoy collaborating with them. It was one of those situations where, okay, we really want to shoot in this station, but we have so many restrictions, and how do we then translate that and use those restrictions to our advantage. Even though we could shoot at Mile End and Stratford, which is where she first gets on the train, they gave us permission between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m., I think it was. We couldn't stop regular people from using the tube. And we came up with this idea, let's do this as a single piece, let's stick with her, and that was always our concept, that the film, or rather Andrea is creating the pace, and we just simply follow her. We're at Stratford, the tube comes in, we get on the tube, then we go to Mile End and we get off. We could only do it 4 times within the allotted time that we had. So practically speaking, if anybody comes into frame with a mobile phone or any kind of contemporary clothing, you're screwed, you know. So I was suggesting that we just shoot everything very shallow depth of field to start with, and we select a lens that is, we don't shoot with wide angle lenses. We kind of keep it reasonably long, mid-length, and that aids us to kind of really, it keeps us in her world, which is great, you know, that it all helps. I mean, a couple of occasions we did get someone who was sit down with earphones on that are contemporary, and we had to call it at that point. But I think on the whole we managed it. I do. I think shooting film's still relevant. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people might not think it is, but I've always said, and I still say, that the great thing about right now is that we have all this choice. So we can choose to shoot digital, we can choose to shoot film, we can choose to shoot in many digital formats, we can choose to shoot 35, 16, Super 8 if we want, because those things still exist. And they have a specific reason to exist, I think, from a creative standpoint, from an aesthetic standpoint. I think you should be able to look at a project and base it purely, your creative decisions purely on that project, and then make your decision whether you want to use, you know, an F65, whether you want to use a film camera, or whether you want to use your mobile phone. It should be about choice, and it should be about the right choice for the right project.